Let's make some bold off-season predictions for the 49ers.
This is tough, but I think they're going to wind up trading Javon. Now, that to me is bold because they took him 14th in the first round, and you know, they're going to wind up trading him at a loss. But I think they're going to wind up trading him. I think it's it's a combination of things, but I don't know that he's what you want in a rotation, and the knee. If it was the knee or not, I don't know. But his effectiveness as the season progressed, went the wrong direction. I mean, he didn't get better as the season went on. He seemed to get less effective. So I don't think there's any question that he's an off-season trade candidate.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mekhi Becton as one, right? Like that's an interesting one. A grass is greener type. Another guy at the end of his rookie contract who might need a change of scenery. Javon Kinlaw might need a change of scenery. Sort of like the AJ Jenkins Jonathan Baldwin trade. I like that. That could work. That might be beneficial for Javon.
Right, might be a win-win. That's what you're hoping for in those trades is a win-win. You're not trying to screw anybody over. Hopefully, he goes to maybe playing next to Quinn and Williams on the Jets. Maybe helps him, and maybe Becton with the Niners, free of New York, gets in shape and shows up, and they got an unbelievable player. I mean, if Becton fulfills his potential, that's a huge win for the Niners, I think.
Absolutely. That's a very creative way of getting an offensive lineman on the roster. My prediction is that Jalen Moore is going to be the 49ers starting right tackle next year. They might bring back Colton McKivitz they could bring back Colton McKivitz for like the league minimum. But essentially their right tackle next year is going to be making the league minimum. It's either going to be Jalen Moore or Colton McKivitz. They're not going to bring back Mike McGlinchey. They're not going to sign Caleb McGarry. They're not going to re-sign Jake Brendel. They're not going to have anyone other than Trent Williams making more than $2 million next season. That's my prediction on the offensive line.
I'm not tied to a number. It's just about what kind of quality did you get. I mean, I like what I saw out of Banks this year. I really liked what I saw out of Burford at times this year. I'm not afraid to go young on the offensive line. And guys get old quick, so I'll take a young, strong offensive lineman who's got some upside. But man, I mean, it's a tough position. I know Forster's a good coach, but man, that's a tough position to just get guys up to speed right away.
Agree.
But if he can do it, you know what? More power to him, and the team will be better off for it if they can build this offensive line cheaply.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I mean, Chris Forster can make a serviceable offensive line. But the question is, what happens if you're lucky enough to make it to the NFC Championship game and you face Philly or Kansas City in the Super Bowl? What happens when Frank Clark and Chris Jones are lined up across from Spencer Burford and Jalen Moore in the fourth quarter? What's going to happen? It's my question. Yeah. You got any more bold?
You'd be glad that your quarterback can run, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. All right, let's do some more bold predictions. I got more.
Okay.
Another bold prediction. They're going to sign a quarterback. They're going to sign a quarterback. They're going to sign a veteran quarterback. And it could be Nate Sudfeld, although I think they could do better than Nate Sudfeld. It seems to me that they could sign a quarterback who started 10, 20, 30, 40 games and give them for cheap, for the league, near the league minimum, $2 million, $3 million, and give themselves a third option should Brock Purdy or Trey Lance get hurt again or not be ready. I think they're going to start. I don't have a name for you.
You don't have a name?
I don't. I mean, it could be Drew Lock. It could be Taylor Heineke. It could be Mitch Trubisky if he gets cut, and I think he might. It could be Marcus Mariota if he gets cut.
Now,
Trubisky would be interesting. Who, Mariota?
Yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was you don't want to overreact because of one game, especially a game that was against your team. But Mariota was exactly what you want Trey Lance to be. He held play fakes. He put pressure on the defense in the run game. He was accurate in his throwing in that game. He understood the clock management. He converted on third down. I mean, it was like Marcus Mariota was literally the template of what they want Trey Lance to be in that game. So I don't know what happened in Atlanta. I know they didn't have much of a run game this year, even though they ran it against the Niners. They don't have an explosive offensive team, but I like Mariota. I mean, I think he's a good kid. He's 6'4", he's 220, he's athletic, he can run. He runs well for that size. If they could wind up with Trey and Brock and Mariota, I would absolutely love that quarterback room.
Yeah, I think it would be great. The thing with Mariota, I think he'd be a great signing for Arizona, considering they won't have Kyler Murray next season and they need a guy to be a placeholder. So, I mean, if the Niners don't show interest, they could face him twice next year, and he beat him once last year. Really, the Niners, anytime they face a quarterback who's a dual threat or mobile, they're in for a dogfight. They could lose. And that's a guy that they might face next year. So Mariota, he could run the Trey Lance offense, whatever the Trey Lance rushing package is that their Niners are going to settle on next year. Mariota could do it too. And I think you could probably get, I don't know how cheap he'd be. Maybe Arizona would give him $7-8 million. I feel like you could get Trubisky for 2, maybe 3. I don't think people are excited about Trubisky, but I mean, he seems kind of like Geno Smith. He got written off very quickly because the Bears were stupid for taking him over Mahomes. That's not Trubisky's fault per se. He had a winning record in Chicago. Like, who the hell does that?
I mean, he's also mobile.
Yeah.
If you like mobility, he's mobile. Easton Stick is another interesting guy. I mean, he's, much cheaper. Jarrett Stidham to me is kind of interesting. I mean, he's a big kid with a strong arm who ran well against the Niners.
He did.
But it's kind of slim pickings. I mean, I this is kind of why when I look at the free agents and I look at how many teams are looking for a quarterback, that makes me think that the 49ers are going to get offers on their quarterback. I don't think they're going to take it, but I think they're going to get offers.
I'm sure they will get offers. Yeah. They can't give up on the Trey Lance project after 4 games. You committed too many first round picks to him. If you had taken him in a mid round, you could end that project whenever you want, but they have to see it through. And they still have 2 more years on his rookie contract, so there's time. But yeah, that's a bold offseason prediction. Another one. I think Emmanuel Mosley signs elsewhere. That's one.
Really?
He's a good player. And I know he's coming off a torn ACL, but I think he'll get significant interest. And I feel like the Niners, I mean, they could have re-signed him already, right? They re-signed Dre Greenlaw. They could have extended him already. But I'm thinking he's going to want to see what he's worth on the free agent market. He's going to go to the highest bidder. And even though he's coming off a torn ACL, he's a good corner in his mid-20s. I think he's going to get paid $11-12 million a year. Maybe you could argue the Niners should give it to him, but I don't think they will.
I think I'll give you a couple bold ones. I think Jimmy Ward, despite his talk, comes back, and Azeez Al-Shaair, despite the fact that he loves it here, bolts.
I like both of those. Why would you get rid of Jimmy Ward? You don't have a nickel. He's a good nickel. He's not super expensive. He can play multiple positions. I think
what kind of offers does he get?
I think Ward would be cheaper than Mosley.
I do too.
Mosley's a cornerback in his 20s. He's really good. I don't care that he's coming off a torn ACL. He's going to get paid. He can get paid $15 million a year. Mosley.
It is a little bit of a risk on the ACL because it's such a difficult position to mirror receivers up and down the field. True. Guys lose even a step. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know that he's got a step and a half to lose. I'll give you another bold one. I think Ambry Thomas gets traded because I think as a 3rd round pick with size, speed, he's flashed enough talent to have value. He's too good to cut, but he's too bad to play. I think he gets traded.
Okay. My bold prediction is that the Niners make no splashy moves in free agency this year.
None.
None. Last year they signed Trevarius Ward. I don't think they're going to make. I think their big splashy move is going to be extending Nick Bosa. Hope I'm wrong though, but they keep having this attitude of, man, we were the best team hands down. We just got to keep this team together. We got to run it back. I don't know. I don't think they're going to make a big one.
That's interesting. I mean, one of the major needs to me is you've got a bunch of guys that you played in a rotation on your D line, and it worked effectively. They had the number 1 D, and yet Ebukam, Amenahue, Ridgeway, Willis, Hyder, McGill, Mohert, they're all free agents.
Yeah.
They're all potentially leaving.
It's true. I mean, they could always bring in more guys on 1-year deals. I mean, they seem to do okay with cast-offs who are still young on one-year deals in the D line. But as long as they're spending 10% of their salary cap on Eric Armstead, there's only so much financially they can do. They kind of have to keep drafting this position.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
And it's a tough position to find, guys.
Yeah, I mean, they could sign a free safety, or they could
I would
just
love
sign Jimmy
Chauncey
Ward.
Gardner-Johnson. I mean, to me, if it was up to me, I would prioritize signing Jimmy Ward and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and try to take that money from somewhere else. And if I got to have a cheapo line, I might try that. I mean, I want difference-making players. I mean, the one thing that is just abundantly clear to me, and I don't know if what you feel about this, we haven't talked since the Super Bowl about this. Patrick Mahomes is so special. Reed is so special. The only way you're beating them is if you have really special difference-making defensive players on all three levels of your defense. They have that with Bosa. They have that with Warner. They have it with Greenlaw. But they don't have that player in the secondary. They really don't have it if they let Ward go. So to me, I mean, you need some. It's not about getting a couple bodies. They got bodies. They need difference makers on the back end.
Agreed. But you know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to sign a backup quarterback and a kicker. They need a kicker. Robbie Gould's a free agent, and he doesn't want to be on the West Coast. His family doesn't live out here. He wants to go back. So they could sign Matt Gay. They could sign Greg Zuerlein, but they need a kicker. That is a splash signing, Larry.
That's a disaster actually, because Robbie Gould's very consistent.
He is very consistent.
So that would be a difficult one. Let me see what kickers are out there.
They got to get a kicker.
They got to get themselves a kicker. Let me see.
Matt Prater, Mason Crosby, Greg Joseph, Brett. How about Brett Maher? I think they should get Brett Maher.
Yeah,
he'd be phenomenal.
How about Eddie Pinheiro? Remember that was the guy that Steve Wilkes gave the game ball to at the end of the year.
Hey, maybe him, because it's the Steve Wilkes connection.
The Steve Wilkes connection.
The Steve Wilkes connection. Pinheiro. I like it.
Didn't Chase McLaughlin play with the Niners?
Yes, he did. Was he the one that missed that kick against
Chase.
the Seahawks by 8 miles? All right. Any more offseason predictions? Will Brandon Ayuk request a trade? No. Any drama at all this offseason? No. Nick Bosa is going to get his extension.
I don't see too much drama.
No drama. The Debo drama was great. Not great, but it was dramatic. It was as dramatic as drama could be. Loved it. There's been a lot of Jimmy drama. That's gone.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the quarterback situation.
Where's Jimmy going to wind up?
Okay, that's a good one. Bold prediction. Jimmy goes to the Raiders.
I was thinking the Raiders too, but you know what? I think Jimmy's going to have more better choices, better options. I don't think he's going to go to the Raiders. I think Tampa with Godwin, I mean, I just think Mike Evans, a couple running backs.
Who's their OC? Oh, it's the guy from Seattle, right? The blah, 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 blah. The quarterback coach from Seattle.
Neville?
Canales? No, I think they just hired him. And I think I saw someone saying, well, they might get Drew Lock because they just brought in Seattle's quarterback coach to be their OC. Reason I say the Raiders is because scheme fit. He knows McDaniels. Yeah. He sees himself as Tom Brady. In his mind, he should have never left New England, and he should have been running the Josh McDaniels offense and winning championships. That's what Jimmy's life should have been. And it wasn't. And this is his opportunity to prove to Kyle that his plays do suck and that he's a perfect fit for the Tom Brady offense. That's how I feel. And I think Josh McDaniels is looking the same way. Like, he runs a very specific scheme. He doesn't change it up. Carr wasn't a good fit for it. Garoppolo is, theoretically.
Yeah, but think about this. You're Jimmy. You want to go to a good spot, have some relevancy. And instead, you're looking at the Raiders in a division with all the best quarterbacks. Or you're looking at a division like the NFC South, where you might be able to get back at Kyle Shanahan. Heck, Tampa with the right breaks and Jimmy there and the right draft, right off season, they could be that third team in the NFC behind the Eagles and the Niners.
What about the Jets? What about Robert Saleh and the Jets?
Yeah, I could see that. But you know what? From what I'm hearing, I heard an interview this weekend with Adam Kaplan, and he says the Jets' number one choice is Aaron Rodgers. Their number two choice is Derek Carr. So I think
Sounds good to me.
Carr is going to wind up at the Jets.
Okay.
I think Rodgers probably winds up back with the Pack because I think the price tag is going to be high. And then
Yeah.
maybe they'll trade him, but it's after June 1st kind of a thing. I think Carr winds up with the Jets. I think Jimmy gets his pick of Raiders or Bucks and picks Bucks. And I don't know what the Raiders do, but I don't think it's the Raiders would love to have Rodgers. I mean, I could see the Raiders pull. I could see Green Bay ripping off the Raiders for, Waller and multiple picks, and because there's some desperation there. I could see Rodgers in Vegas.
Rodgers in Vegas. Okay. I like that. Any more bold predictions? Will the 49ers trade up?
I think they will. They will. There's a defensive tackle in this draft who's kind of I don't want to say he's Aaron Donald because he's not Aaron Donald, but his name's Kalijah Cansey, and he plays for same like Aaron Donald. He plays for Pitt, and he's just a monster. And he's probably going to wind up being a second round pick because he's 6 feet, 275. But he's absolutely a monster. And I think, he's a guy that would be a terrific addition for them. So
I'd like to see him trade up for a right tackle because to me, you could get a starting right tackle if they trade up into like the top half of the third round. The Seahawks got a starting right tackle last year at pick 72. What's his name? Abraham Lincoln? I don't know what his name. Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. They got him at pick 72. I mean, I think you can get a right tackle. So I think that if the Niners could get a starting right tackle or a starting center or a starting anything, because frankly, from center to right guard to right tackle, they could take an impact player anywhere and move people around after that. That would be great.
The guy that I love is the Michigan kid, Olusegun Olawatimi, who won the Outland Trophy. Is one of the best interior linemen in the sport. 6'3", 310. Just a monster. I mean, to me,
Michigan offensive linemen are always good.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has got, this guy will move you in the run game. Right now, I think Brendel gets paid but somewhere else. I think Brendel and McGlinchey both bail. That's my guess. I think they'll both get offers, and the Niners will let them walk.
Got any more bold predictions?
I'll say the 49ers go rookie quarterback. I mean, even though they have two young quarterbacks, I'm pretty confident they'll go rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5 of them that they got a bunch of mid-round picks. They got a bunch of picks in the 3rd and 4th and 5th round. And that's where, the Jake Haener, Clayton Tunes, Malik
Tanner
McKee, those guys are going to be.
Why do I feel like Kyle Shanahan loves Tanner McKee? I think he loves Tanner McKee. Bold prediction. Prediction. He loves Tanner McKee.
Lynch loves him too, probably.
I'll
give you one off-season bold prediction.
Yeah.
Will Levis will be the first pick in the draft. Will Levis.
Whoa, why?
Because you're talking about a guy who's 6'3", 230, and has this unbelievable snap on his passes. I mean, watching the guy throw is just downright impressive, and he's just got big time traits, big time upside. And I think when if the draft were the day after the college football season, he wouldn't go that high. But, by the time April rolls around, they will have poked and prodded these guys to such a degree that Will Levis will bubble to the surface over Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and he'll go number 1.
Do you think he should go number 1? That's a different question.
I guess I would say he should go number 1, but there's a number of people who I really respect who think that Bryce Young is super special.
Okay.
So I don't see super special. I see Bama.
What about Stroud?
I think Stroud is obviously got bigger stature, 6'3", 220. He's got the stature and the athleticism, but I just think that he's a solid NFL starter that's going to have a nice career, but not a star.
What about Richardson?
Richardson, I think, is really intriguing. I think he goes probably in the 20s, and he is going to be, I think, a difference maker. I mean, you're
I'd rather
talking about
take
6'3", 240, and he runs incredibly fast, and he's a big play guy. He's almost like a running back. I mean, he's
yeah.
he's so intriguing. I would say Anthony Richardson could be the best quarterback in the draft.
I'd rather take Anthony Richardson at 25 than Will Levis at 1, but